it is an amazing book. And the book is pretty much about grace and truth, as pretty much the first chapter. It is pretty much about how these aliens um, found were trying to find something amusing, and they were like, maybe a new game, maybe something like that. But then one suggested to make a god, and one was Breezy, I think the name was. He was in charge of um, the making doing the research and stuff, and he came back and found two gods. One was named Truth, and one was named Grace. Grace was a very nice one, the one that nobody was scared of. They were happy to be her followers. Um, and then there's Truth, the one that was very demanding, the one that had boundaries, the one that if you didn't follow what he said, then there were going to be consequences. But later in that chapter, it pretty much says grace without truth is license. Truth without grace is judgment. And that very spoke to me because it's truth. You need both of them to to have a God, which that is just like our God. He is both. He both has grace and he has truth. Um, a story that happened into that chapter was Ruth's story. She is a daughter of a minister, um, and she pretty much was a patient of Dr. Henry's, and her dad came in and was telling Dr. Cloud all about how his daughter was messed up, how she was sleeping around, doing drugs, and all of this crazy stuff. And then when Henry Cloud finally sat down with Ruth, he was like, I know what's wrong. Um, it's nothing that is wrong with you personally. It's something that's wrong with the way you're being raised. It's because Ruth was raised with truth only with no grace. And I think that's very important because that speaks to me because I had really strict parents, but my parents always had grace with it. Another thing, learning to bond. Bonding is very important, and I think that is amazing for change because bonding is change, pretty much. It's very important to connect with people. And then another um, topic is making boundaries. Making boundaries is so important when it comes to relationships. If somebody breaks the boundary, then that's just something you have to deal with and that you have to stand your ground. And then another one is sorting good and bad. It is very important to sort good and bad because and it tells you how, which is pretty much, and all it says is to go to the Bible. And I think that is so important to just go straight to the Bible where the facts are. Another one, and the last one is becoming adult, which is the biggest change out there from becoming, and it's something that everybody has to go through, from going from a baby to a child to a teenager to an adult. It's such a big change, and it's a hard change sometimes, especially when you don't have a good foundation, and it pretty much tells you just the important facts like finding your ground with Jesus and having all your foundation correct, which I think is amazing. And yeah, and pretty much my two insights I found were God is both truth and grace, and those are very important. And that without one, it's not balanced, and you need that good, even truth and grace. And my second insight is when in Ruth's story that you need to have a good foundation to build upon to have a good life. And I think that foundation needs to be God. I would definitely recommend Changes That Heal to anybody. It's such an amazing, amazing, amazing book. And yeah, thank you.